the Conservatives are making a proposal that doesn't add up.
But you have seen the books, haven't you? The Office for Budget Responsibility publishes details. You have every budget, every line of the nation's finances, spending and taxes are all in there.
Well, I don't think that's true. We don't know what the current state of the defence budget is at all. That is the essential problem. I believe that the Conservatives say that they're going to achieve this by making thousands of civil servants redundant in the Ministry of Defence. But I think the last time they made that promise, they ended up increasing them.
Of course, the new time for Times Radio Drive, John Pienaar kicking off at 4. Right, let's stick then with what Keir Starmer has been saying today on defence.
The Tories' own former Defence Secretary says the government has failed to take defence seriously. We have the smallest army since the time of Napoleon, at a time when other countries are firmly on a war footing. And so, even as we work tirelessly for peace, we have to be fit to fight.
Well, let's now speak to the Shadow Minister for Veterans, Steve McAbe. Morning, Steve. Afternoon, even.
Morning. Or afternoon, yes.
So just explain this announcement today. The Conservatives said they would spend 2.5% of GDP, the 2.5% of the economy, on defence by 2030. When would a Labour government spend 2.5% of GDP on defence?
Well, we'd embark on that immediately and as soon as possible. But what we can't do is give a commitment when we haven't seen the books, and all we know is that the Conservatives are making a proposal that doesn't add up.
But you have seen the books, haven't you? The Office for Budget Responsibility publishes details. You have every budget, every line of the nation's finances, spending and taxes are all in there.
Well, I don't think that's true. We don't know what the current state of the defence budget is at all. That is the essential problem. I believe that the Conservatives say that they're going to achieve this by making thousands of civil servants redundant in the Ministry of Defence. But I think the last time they made that promise, they ended up increasing them.
Today we've got Keir Starmer and the Shadow Defence Secretary, John Healey, making this commitment on Trident. Is it a problem that the Shadow Defence Secretary, David Lammy, is among those people who'd previously boasted against voting against the renewal of Trident? Which are we supposed to believe? Is it the David Lammy then or the David Lammy now?
Well, I think Keir Starmer's been pretty clear on the policy, and everyone who's in the Shadow Cabinet backs that policy.
But they didn't back that policy before. In 2016, David Lammy and others boasted about voting against the renewal of Trident.
Well, we were in a very different world. I can only repeat that the policy is clear and everyone who's in the Shadow Cabinet backs it.
Also today, Keir Starmer has said that he would put the Minister for Veterans in the Cabinet as Johnny Mercer is in the Conservatives. You're standing down at the election. Are you annoyed you've missed out on being in the Cabinet?
No, not at all. Look, that was something that we talked about for a period of time. I think the important thing is that we keep the emphasis on veterans and that we deal with some of the backlog issues that have been building up in the course of this government. That was my priority. That will be my successor's priority. And we really just need to get on with delivering it.
Is there an issue? Is there a problem for Keir Starmer that because he and so many of his shadow cabinet have had, not just on defence, but on a range of issues, a range of views? Is there a trust problem with Keir Starmer that people aren't quite sure where he stands on things, or if he might change his mind again in the future?
Well, that's not what I'm picking up when I speak to people on the doorstep. I think they found Labour's 6 steps to changing the country very clear, very helpful, and we're simply setting out the kind of priorities that are necessary to make the changes that the country needs.
But I mean, for instance, on going back to Trident, in 2020, Angela Rayner, one of your shadow cabinet colleagues, deputy leader, would be deputy prime minister in a Labour government, voted against renewing Trident in 2016. In 2020 said, I want a world without nuclear weapons, and that's what I want a Labour government to work towards. Any candidate for Prime Minister who, by contrast, relishes the thought of unleashing death and destruction isn't fit for the office. And that's this isn't just sort of arguing over some public spending or rewriting the national curriculum. There's a fundamental question, isn't it? And it's taking the public for fools to expect voters to believe that every single member of Keir Starmer's shadow cabinet who voted against the renewal of Trident now loves it.
Well, look, I'm not sure anyone loves nuclear weapons. The reality is Trident is our ultimate deterrent. And of course, we all want proper multilateral disarmament. That's always been a Labour position. That should be our position. But in a threatening and unsafe world, it's vital that we keep our deterrent.
We really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for that. Steve McAbe there, the Shadow Minister for Veterans on the Labour Party's Trident policy.
There's nothing classified as you taking an image from there. I guess Neil's concern is it's going to interrupt the programme. Because you're all supposed to go on the bus and go that way. So,
I'm ready to go. We're on taking a couple of minutes. And it just gives us another nice long shot of it.
Still way too late. Are we going to get on? Yep, we're going to. A little dinghy, a rowboat. Find your way, Tom?
No, you're fine.